Hello and welcome everyone. We're back again. So this time we won't be talking about technology or business. Today marks a special occasion. The founder of TechnoBind, Hari Krishna Prabhu, has completed 15 years of his journey as an entrepreneur and as a founder. So Hari, how does it feel? 15 years of being in this role of an entrepreneur, and after having known you as a colleague working in Hewlett Packard back then. Uh, how does it feel today when you feel that it's been 15 long years that you made the decision to quit a comfortable, regular corporate job in a large, it was Fortune 9, I think I remember HP when I joined. It was ranked Fortune 9. So I think very few people take a decision to leave such a large organization and start something on their own. So what prompted you to do that?
This is the question that people have been asking me for a long time now.
So if you would just repeat.
No. Point is, question is when to start, right? And what do you want to do in life was actually prompted. It is the only thing that prompted us to start this. You've been doing something which is maybe 80-90% of the people are doing in the world, which is working for an organization, living your, whatever, the happy life, family, friends, and continue doing what you want to. But somewhere on a daily basis, you're doing the same thing, living your life quarter on quarter, year on year. That is one thing which actually encouraged. The second one is I always, from my early days, my college days, I always wanted to be an entrepreneur. I always wanted to be a business person. I always wanted to. I did multiple things during my college days or even after college. Small things, something I started.
For small business
Small.
ideas.
It could be outside the working or during the college days. Something like that. Something, clicked, something did not click. But that urge to do something on my own was always there with me. So your other question is, how do you feel being an entrepreneur for
Yes,
last
15
15
long
years?
years.
15, should I use 15 successful years or should I say 15 long years, or is it just a short period of time for me to actually go and maybe cherish or enjoy or be proud of that journey? I think I'm still a long, you know, way to go, right? I still have at least another 10-15 years to go, is what I believe, because the kind of energy that I still have, you might say I've lost weight, but I believe that I still have good amount of energy and the confidence in me and the system that we have built to go next or take the organization to the next level. But if you ask me, uh, yeah, how do I feel? I feel very more confident today. I feel more overwhelmed, or I also feel more uh, sort of spiritual in nature today, because somewhere God has been kind in helping us continue what we wanted to do. Somewhere family and friends have been kind enough to give us that confidence, give us that motivation, help us sustain and move on, right? So these are the things. So it is a mixed learning, but yes, today I feel more confident, and obviously 15 years is, as you rightly said, it's not a short period of time. So it's time for us to cherish and also celebrate, is what I believe.
No, absolutely. So for most of us who worked with you, I think you're first generation entrepreneurs and successful ones. So it is definitely a matter of pride and should be cherished. So when you decided to exit regular corporate 9 to 5, as we call it, so what made you choose to get into the distribution business and specifically establish a value-added distributor model?
So first, before getting there, even during our working days, even today we are, the employees of our own organization, we continue to work. But we never thought that we are working for an organization and it's a 9 to 5 job. All of us, including you, right? We always spent extra hours. we always were working beyond the office hours, or we went out of the way to do whatever things to be done, right? So I still remember my family saying, please don't come home till the time you complete the work, because we used to carry home work.
Achha, you carry work back home.
Yeah, so I used to be on the phone continuously, being in sales. So that was our job. So never. And possibly that, I don't want to call it as hard work, persistence, or the sort of passion to work, that helped us jump into the entrepreneurship and do something more. Because to do something difficult or something new or something more than what you're trying to do is not just hard work or not just passion, not just intention to do. It is also discipline to do and way of execution and other things. A lot of things come into picture.
Discipline is something I want to talk
Yeah.
about. So, I mean, when you were in sales, you have been on the other side of the table, and distributors existed then. But in spite of that, you and the other founders decided to identify some gap. You must have seen something for which out of which TechnoBind was born. So, what was the thinking behind it?
See, this took about 2 years for us to frame our own thoughts, and we did a lot of. We actually spent a lot of time sitting in a bar, drinking and writing on the napkins, saying what should we do. The very reason why VAD or why distribution. Before that, why did we start? We were all on the other side, as you said, and we always thought there is a gap in what an OEM expecting from a distributor or a partner, and what we are doing. Point number one. The second one is the management of the OEM or the vendor or the organization, what they expected from a sales guy and what we were deliver. There was a huge gap.
Gap.
One is all sales guys went and sold what was easy to sell. Today also, what is easy to sell, we go and sell. Least resistance path, high acceptability, not much of effort required, pull, whatever you call, right? But as an organization, as a OEM, everybody had different kind of products. Some were the mainstream products or the pull products, or it's the signature product of the organization. And there were also few solutions and the technologies which needed a push, which actually needed somebody to go and sit in front of the customer or a partner and go and sell, which is a hard sell, which always used to take back seat. But when we were on the other side and we were in a management position, the management or the managers were always gold on multiple things. One is the mainstream business. The second one is the, what you call the push products, or the some of the products that you are supposed to go and sell, which were not being sold. So we thought, how do we go and do it? That's when we realized who's the closest to the market. It is distributor and hence the SI partner. Who's the person who's closest to the partner, customer or the market. But again, if as a sales guy of an OEM selling what sells, that behavior actually goes to the sales team on the field, which includes your partner. And we found that gap. So what we said is, can we come out with a business model, which could be tough, but can we go and identify products or the solutions which actually is a need of a customer, which solves his problem, and hence make it sort of useful for customer to buy it, and also going back and telling the OEM that I am able to sell this particular product or something like that. So it is nothing but selling a core technology, a hardcore technology that is the need of the hour, which was not done by somebody else, or which was not done as a mainstream business by most of the partners. That was the thought process.
That's the thought.
But should we do the distribution or should it be SI organization? It took a lot of time.
So this is part of the 2-year iteration process.
2 years, right? So should we start an SI organization? But then for me, SI organization, you can go build an organization, you can put 10 people, 20 people, 30 people, but you can only do so much. You can only go and you can sell anything and everything possible, but you can only go and possibly cover 20 customer, 50 customer, 100 customer, 2 segment. That's how it is. as an entrepreneur, which I means as a person who wanted to be a successful entrepreneur or who wanted to make it big, scalability was also very important. And the scalability comes when it is distributed, when you actually go much faster than the market and reach the customer. And that's the reason we started
So
the
you chose
distribution.
this over
That's why
becoming
we
an
said.
SI.
So we said, why restrict ourselves only to 50, 20, 100 customers? Why restrict ourselves only to few solutions? Why not be broad based? Why not be use the well proven the engine, which is the solution provider engine or the reseller engine or the SI engine, fuel it with some of the technologies that are required in the market, support them with more, enablement, helping them go and sell, and hence make this as a bigger, or a scalable organization or a scalable business than a smaller way of looking at it. That was the thought
Yes,
process.
I remember when in your channel role, whenever quarterly schemes used to be launched, you'll go sit with the partner, explain the schemes, multipliers, all of that. So I think you also had a fair amount of first-hand exposure of partners. So you knew what they needed. So, today TechnoBind is successful, 15 years, 150 employees, 7 offices, including one in Singapore. So, but during the journey, there must have been some very difficult moments or difficult years, if there were. So, what are some of the difficult moments that tested your decision or resolve? Funding, belief.
We started this believing in ourselves and believing in the business model. While a lot of people came and said, "Is this the right business model? How will you, ensure there is a cash flow? How will you, fuel the run engine on a daily basis? Because you need to pay the
Employees.
salary,
Yeah.
you need to pay yourself because you have to live, you need to survive." Yeah, but then one is obviously the belief in the business model that we were carving out, we were working on. The second one, obviously, the vision and the mission that we actually framed. Trust in ourselves, trust in the founders, the co-founding team that we had, because all three, four of us came with different skills, but all complementing skills, so that it could be three, four different pillars were able to be managed by all of us. That is one part of it for sure. The second one, while we had trust, confidence, persistence, or the ability to go and push, all that were there. Obviously, there were a lot of discouraging, moments from the market or from some of the people whom we knew well. One of the partner, when I went and met him, he said, he still works with us, saying, you survive for 1 year and then we'll see. Right? That was the first thing. Some of the vendors, when we said, you just started, what can you do? It is. Some of the family members, friends said, are you sure? Would you be able to survive? Would you be able to run this? Let's see, maybe 2 years down the line, you might come back and look for a job again.
Resume
Yeah.
your earlier
So
career.
these were the mixed, and some people also said, yes, there is a need for organization like this. There's a need for people like you to come into business and run this. Yeah, we had both kind of sort of feelers from the market or from the family friend circle. But yeah, today, no regret. I think whatever we believed, I think it is successful.
So you mentioned family. So a lot of people see the upside of becoming an entrepreneur. Success, large organization, providing employment, solving problems. But there must have been a lot of sacrifices, personal, family. Can you spend a minute talking about them?
Yeah, see, one is I was just going through something before coming, and said, don't quit a job or don't start something before you knowing where are you, what are you getting into, right? Are you ready to work 16 hours to 20 hours a day? Are you ready to compromise in terms of your lifestyle? Are you ready to take some sort of pressure, additional pressure? These were the things, right? And so, keeping all this in mind, I at least had prepared my family by keeping a little savings away, means aside for us to survive for. We knew any business takes 2 to 3 years to stabilize. So you need something for 3 years. But I had set expectations, both my family and friends, at least the family saying, next 3 years would be tough. While we may not go and compromise on our lifestyle, we will continue to do whatever, travel, whatever. But we may not have uh, the luxurious life. And 2 years, 3 years down the line, I may have to go back to work and I may have to struggle. So be ready with that. So that expectations was set. So I don't want to say compromise, but we were very well aware of what we are getting into as family. Personally, coming from multinational, traveling across, taking flights, staying in a five-star hotel, spending on whatever the dinners and the drinks for partners and the customers, that actually came down, right? That we had to cut it down. First 2 to 3 years of our 3 years to 4 years of our journey, we were traveling by bus to Mumbai and traveling by train from Mumbai to possibly Delhi. We were staying in not lodges but close to lodges kind of thing whenever we traveled. And we were trying to save every rupee, every penny possible, because every 100 rupees that you could save, you could invest back in
Invest back
another
in the
travel,
business.
and that could yield more result. So these were the compromises, if you ask me, but you came prepared, and every compromise, so-called, every step that you took, at least I used to enjoy it. I'm saying, yes, this is life, and this is helping me build something more. This is, so it is, I at least took it as a motivational factor and saying that will help me get somewhere what I'm planning to. And that learning of first 8-10 years of saving money, traveling possibly by buses and other things. We may not travel by bus today, but we still don't travel, on a very business class and other things, and we don't still go and stay in a five-star hotels and other things, because you have learned something. And even today, we believe that learning is helping me save extra money, which I'm able to put it back into business, because at the end of the day, every rupee that you save is an earning for all of us. So that's
So
something.
actually, so two things. I mean, the reason I asked this is to bring out the fact that as much as you have put in time and effort and sacrifice, I think your family also went through that process. I mean, it's important to
See, if
recognize
your
that.
family is not with you, then you fail the day one.
Exactly.
So if you take them along, and if you brief them, if you tell them what exactly you are getting into, and I think it's all about confidence, trust, belief. What you have, also you bring it into the family as well. So I think my family actually believed me. They trusted my decision. So
I
that is
think,
more
yeah, I
important.
think it's also important that there was the, how should I put it, the courage to downgrade. For example, after traveling in flights and staying wherever you want, to start traveling by buses, staying in lodges. Some people do struggle with that change. So I think going through that, the ability to downgrade, I mean, if I quote Seneca, the philosopher, the ability to downgrade is a very important, aspect in life. Depending on circumstances, one should be able to adapt.
Yes. Two things. One is downgrade. The second one is unlearn.
Sorry, unlearn. Yeah, unlearn. Maybe that's
If
the
you
correct.
can unlearn, you are the best learner. And if you can downgrade, it's easy for you to downgrade. It's easy for you to go up
Exactly,
much
exactly.
faster. These are the two things which are very,
Very
very,
important traits,
very
I believe.
important for
Yes.
anybody. It's may not be in the business. It
Yeah,
could
in
be
any aspect of
anything for
life,
that
any
matter.
phase of life, one should be able
Exactly.
to
These are
go.
few things that you cannot compromise on. But what I said is hard work, discipline, trust, belief, downgrade, unlearn,
Yeah, I think these are
save.
values, I think, or
These are the things
traits
that,
which are
yeah.
necessary. So, if you were to look back at the moment or the time period when you believe that yes, whatever you and your team, the founder team, had sought out to build into TechnoBind as a successful VAD, when was the time when you felt, yeah, finally the model is working? What are the few breakout developments when you said, okay, fine, we finally found our space in the industry? and now we are on the right track. So if you could just share a few
I
such.
still once in a while I go back to my first 2 3 presentations that we had built, and I think I'm so happy, and I feel sometimes very proud of our thought process and the vision that we had. We had carved out, or we had built. We wanted to build our business on 3 4 pillars, not the functional pillars, what we talk about it today, but those days, obviously, virtualization had just come in, virtualization, cloud part of it, data management. How do we build a business around data was the thought process, and we did. That was the thought process. So, whatever we did, I think it took about 3 years for us to plug in key solution providers, key vendors, key OEMs, and we went behind everybody and started talking to them. We introduced a lot of new technologies to the country. We introduced some of the new technologies to partners. It could be, I can give you multiple examples without taking names, because they're not there. Some are acquired, some are some have gone. So we had identified some of the best storage technologies. Some of them were acquired by HP, some of them were acquired by Dell, some went bankrupt. But we went and sold these technologies to some of the largest customers in India through partners. We identified some solutions like PCA-based flash cards, wherein you could bring down the latency of any, e-commerce customers need those days. We went and sold it to most of the e-commerce customers. We were, I think, one of the pioneers as partners who could start talking about endpoint backup in the market, when the endpoint backup was not a talking point, not big. It was only 2 to 3% of the market, or the backup market those days. So these things actually helped us create our own market, and also helped us create visibility. And that's how some of the large vendors, or some of the prominent vendors who wanted to be, who wanted to grow, or who wanted to what do you call, have their own strong foothold in the market. So they actually helped us, or they gave us the distribution. They believed in our story or whatever we had done, and that is one part of it. And we also had some of our friends who had joined the other multinational organizations, the OEMs, vendors, who actually had belief in us, who knew the kind of work that we had done earlier, and so they supported us. So it took about 3 years and getting some of the large, or so-called large products today for us, and that's when we started. It could be products like Thales. Thales today is one of the largest for us. When we started as a second or a third distributor for Thales, and it was very small. Similarly, Commvault. When we started Commvault was very, very small in the country, though they were the Gartner's leaders, and we actually were able to go and make difference in the market for Commvault as well. And today Commvault is the largest for us. So it took about 3 years, and I should also try and take some names, like some of the friends who joined us, like Aman Jain, who came from the distribution, who actually took the baton and started running in the market, created that difference in the market, who actually helped us understand distribution business, the way the distribution needs to be run. And so it helped. And some of the good friends who joined us, good colleagues who are still there with us. So they helped us build this business for sure. So it took 3 to 4 years for us to have some 3 4 good technologies who actually could help us reach a much larger partner community, and hence the customer.
So, from starting with an idea to then the sort of the growth or establishment phase, now it's an organization running on its own steam, 35 plus brands and counting. So, as the organization grew in terms of size and scale, between you and the founding team, how did you guys, how should I put it, work on maintaining the primary purpose and ethic behind which you started it? I mean, because typically when things scale, some of these things tend to get diluted. So,
So,
how do you see that?
one point is we were actually encouraged, or we were sometimes forced to think that we should look at mainstream business. Why should we look at? People asked, "What will you do for your cash flow and other things?" Right? So, how do we do it? So, should we go and look at some quicker business? Go and start selling endpoint. Go and start selling some mainstream solutions, endpoint security, antivirus, or should you stick to your vision, mission, the thought that you had laid? So it took some time, but as I said, we believed that there is a market for us. It's a tougher market, but once you create that visibility, once you create that business model, once you build that business model, I think it is just a journey that you can actually fast track, is what we thought. And why we did not? Because the very reason that we came into business is to make the difference. If you look at it, it's a distribution with the difference, right, that we have. So we wanted to be that way only, and which I think was a right decision for us to go ahead. The we could have easily become one among thousands of partners today by selling. We had customer connects, we had vendor connects, we had some good friends, but we wouldn't have been able to build, create and build an organization that we always wanted to.
So, that means it also meant choosing what not to do, right? It is
Exactly, because see, yeah, I don't know what kind of guts we had to stick to our guns and say we will not drift, because that is, today I can always say it's not just the confidence and the trust. You had that courage to stick to your guns.
yeah, I
So
think courage is a very important element, right, in
yeah,
this journey.
so I think all three, four of us believed in whatever we wanted to do, while we always had some sort of push and pull, but I think no regrets today.
So another aspect I notice is, as is true for any organization, people join and people leave for their aspirations. But I do notice that people come back to TechnoMind. So there is something about the culture, if you can just comment, because if people are coming back, there is something that they see in the market and then they come back. It's a big, how should I put it, positive vote for the culture.
See, one is my understanding, and what we, every salesperson, like obviously they have their own aspiration, growth, career, money, everything is required. But after some time, the initial stage of their career, they always want them to learn, which helps them, stabilize. The second one, after some time, it is not, once you're stabilized, it is not just the money. It is enjoying what you are doing and learn more and more and start contributing, right? You would have contributed initial days also. So I'm of the opinion that we should not be talking about our culture. So there's nothing like that. It's all about how do you empower the people, how do you give them all the kind of freedom, how do you help them learn more and more, though however senior they are, learning is a part of your
It's
daily
continuing.
journey, right? So however, and doing something new on a daily basis. As an organization, we believe in doing something new on a daily basis. You take our business model, everybody in the market speaks about uh, product. As TechnoBind, we speak about product, it becomes an incidental,
Part of the
part of the
conversation.
conversation when you're talking about a much larger solutioning part of it. You talk about use case, you talk about stack solution, you talk about solving a much larger problem. Everybody talks about it, much larger. I use that word is problem. Somebody says, my server performance problem could be much bigger. So what are you trying to solve? So these business models that we have also sometimes attracts our own old people who have learned to come back and do it, because these are the conversations that most of the organizations are still not having it. I can confidently tell you that. And that's one reason. The second one, we believe in being, while our organization is sales oriented, pressure, review oriented, people say high pressure, lot of reviews, number pressure, everything is there. That's part of any organization, I think. But our organization, we have never gone back, and taken out any of our colleagues just because he's not or she's not met his or her number.
Okay, so it's not been a
It is
unidimensional.
not the number alone, it's not the target alone, it's more to do with what we can do together. I think once you go out, people understand, learn that it is not just the
No, that's
other
a good
aspects of
insight.
the
Maybe
business,
that's one of the
right?
reasons
Yeah.
why people come back.
Because they come back. Now, the second one, in especially the pre-sales organization that we have built, or some of the youngsters who had joined us, the kind of learning that they had, we never hesitate, we never go back and say, why should I train these people? Why should I invest in their certification? Why should I invest in making them self-sufficient? Because tomorrow he will leave and go and do something else somewhere.
Yeah, that's a view some people take, right?
We
Short-sighted
don't.
view.
For me, more I invest in our people, their learning, their certification, their whatever upskilling, more it comes back to first the community, which is the IT community. Second one, it will definitely come back. If they have gone and joined some other organization, they work for me from that organization. If they are with me, they will anyway continue to work.
So it,
So it is, at the end of the day, it's I take it as my duty is to go and invest in upskilling, invest in technology building, investing, helping people learn. Sometimes it comes back, and karma always says, right, it comes back to you, never
no, no, I think
goes
well
back.
said. In fact, I can vouch for this. Recently, given that there's so much talk around cloud, we've signed up for some courses for the marketing team, and there was no hesitation in approving. So, well, I mean, I can relate to what he's saying. So now you began by saying that while 15 years can be looked upon as a long time, I feel I have a lot of energy and I have a lot of confidence even after doing this for so long. So, if you were to look at the next decade of your working, what are the things that excite you? What are you looking forward to after having come this far?
See, obviously, we are all here to earn, monetize. So that's given. Very candidly put, very honestly put. But we started this organization. The project name of this organization is or was Empire, building an empire. Empire could be small or big, it doesn't matter. But we wanted to have our own identity, have our own empire to be built, and we'll continue to build that. In the process, today, what we are talking about is while we build an organization to a next level, a much larger one, not just in, not just the revenue part of it, right? When I talk about larger organization, can I make it much more adorable, much more, people look at it as an organization which actually talks about what they want to do or they've been, wanting to do, right? Who is, very much, it's like we will build an organization where I need everyone in the market to look at it as, yes, this is what possibly people wanted to build, and this could be one example. Revenue is here to grow. People. The second one, my thought process is, can I build an organization where I can also create wealth for our employees, our colleagues. Employees is the wrong word, for our colleagues. And we are in the process of building certain program for our colleagues to build wealth. How do I share whatever I earn is what we are looking at as an organization. The second one, if we do well and if we continue to do well, we will are also looking at, like one of my passion saying, can we help some startups? All this while giving them validation, helping them validate, taking them to the market. Maybe time has come for us to start looking at investments in these startups also, and make it a much more bigger ecosystem, so called. So that's the plan. So plan is big, but simply put, grow, continue to grow, uh, build an organization which is much more robust and which is actually appreciated and respected in the market, and also make it as a family, or make it as a sort of an organization where our colleagues can not no, they don't need to repent saying I'm working. They need to look at possibly being part of
No,
it
I
and
think you made a very
helping.
noble part that wealth creation for colleagues is an important endeavor.
I am very serious about creating wealth for each of the
Colleague.
colleagues who are with us for a longer time and will continue to be with us for a longer time. So that's what I want to build, than building just an organization which is a sales organization and every month you generate some revenue.
Nice. So, I mean, I think this.
Obviously, other things come in. It should be rated as the best technology seller in the market. I should be rated as one of the best, fastest growing, organization in the market. All that is
Necessary and
necessary
important. Yeah.
things. But beyond that is what I am talking about.
Understood. So I think this might be a good moment as you reflect back on your 10-year entrepreneurial journey. A few names that you may want to, thank in your journey. You mentioned Aman as one. I think your family, your wife.
Family, obviously, wife, children, for sure, and the extended family, because they also were dependent, or they also will have that feelers, means fear, uncertainty. First is to thank my own co-founders, right, who were together and still going strong in terms of building. There are a lot of organizations who have collapsed because of the mistrust or the
Chemistry between the founders.
trust deficit. So that's not
Yeah, it's quite remarkable.
that is the biggest. So I'm not thanking, but I'm saying, yeah, I'm proud of that relationship. I have no business to thank family because they have already sacrificed and contributed. So if I thank, it is like demeaning their thing. So I respect them. Uh, Obviously, investor Shanbag, who found some kind of
Merit in the.
merit in the business model, seed investing or initial investment which came in. I told you about Aman, who actually joined us and took this business to the next level. There are at least 7, 8 people in the OEM fraternity who actually went. I cannot take their names, but who went out of the
We have
way
to support the
support
idea.
us, give us that alliances, build that, help us build that business. And as we speak today, I thank every colleague of mine who's been part and parcel of my journey. But there are at least about 8 to 10 people even today in this organization who still believe that they are in the right organization. They are learning. They have been empowered. They have been supported by the organization, and they are continuing to contribute beyond what they would have done. Is what I thank each one of them. And given a choice, as I said, it is not just thanking. It is like maybe I pray God that I get additional, what do you call, strength to make this organization bigger, so that they are part of the organization and then they also grow along with us, and as I said, become much more. Or one last thing, I don't know, this is coming to me now. Is there a possibility of we building a couple of more entrepreneurs from our own organization and they becoming one more successful entrepreneur? It could be one way of looking at it. Those names I cannot take it, but yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure if they listen to me, they know who they are.
So, before we close, if there are one or two learnings that anybody who wants to get into this journey of moving out of their comfort zone and becoming an entrepreneur, what would the two be? I mean, what, one, two, three, whatever. I leave it to you.
Hard work is for sure. Go beyond what you can do. And second one is obviously be disciplined in terms of execution. The third one is be ready to take brickbats as well as the flaws. There will be good, bad, and ugly. When somebody tells you amazing you have done, don't start celebrating. And somebody says you guys have not done well or you will not be able to do well, like somebody said, come after 1 year, let's see. So don't get discouraged, don't get demotivated. Continue to believe in yourself, continue to believe in what you are planning to do. Rest, leave it to God. Rest will happen.
Nice. So, thank you, Hari. It was quite fascinating, and I have said this when I met you 2 years back in your this avatar. That it genuinely is so nice to see somebody who was once a colleague leaving the comfort of a regular and a large organization like that to start something like this and see you and the rest of them successful today. So, very happy for you and TechnoBind, and thank you for sharing your journey with us. And hope all those listening will find some of this relatable and valuable. So, thank you for joining us, and we shall be back soon with another conversation.
Thank you very much. In fact, I would have told you big things, right? Our business model is like this. We do it, process oriented. That's all part of the journey. That's how you build an organization. But what I was trying to share is what I felt, or when we started, why did we start? What kind of sacrifices or whatever.
Yeah, it was meant to be a reflection
more
of your
to do
journey.
with heart-to-heart discussion than making it sort of professional.
No, I think it's called for. I mean, it's meant to be a reflective journey. So why not? I'm sure I found it very interesting. I'm
If
sure.
somebody learns from us, if somebody says, yeah, there is a possibility for first generation entrepreneurs to come and become successful, if there is a possibility for some of the corporate guys to come and start something and be successful, why not?
Why not? Absolutely, absolutely.
We become that kind of
Yeah,
torchbearers.
absolutely.
Yeah,
So
thanks a lot.
thank you everyone.
Yeah, thanks a lot for your time, and hopefully we'll have more to share in the near future.
Sure.
Thank you.